Hello, once again, this is Antonio, and I'm coming at you with another exciting video. Now, in this video, it's interesting, right? The defendant pleaded the fifth the whole trial. The whole trial. And what's um so interesting is, right, Judge Manning on this docket had a long, long day, and I took my time and broke up every case that, was some significant value. And actually, the gentleman used to teach English in another country. He's allegedly been in America illegally for a long time, but um, in this TPO case, the lady's dad is saying that he's very abusive, controlling, and they wanted to stop. So every question that was asked of him, he pleaded the fifth. This is a long case. It's about 57 minutes, and I'm telling you, it's really, really, really tough to hear some of this stuff. But nevertheless, let's dive into the content, and then when we come back, we'll state our opinions.
I'm sure Ms. Dorfman will make it very slow and painless.
Where is
Go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
All right, Mr. Salamanca, can you state your full name again for the record?
David Santiago Salamanca Perez,
All right, and how old are you?
25.
Okay, and you do speak English well, correct? You actually taught English in Colombia.
I need a interpreter.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm
What?
sorry.
What is going on today?
Okay.
This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke.
Your Honor, he speaks English. He taught English.
I
He
speak
said he
English.
needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
This is a joke. Emma Brothers and David Salamanca.
Your Honor, ready for Miss Brothers.
Ready for Mr. Salamanca, Your Honor.
Okay, do y'all have any witnesses besides your clients?
No, Your Honor.
And on the part of the respondent, no, Your Honor, my client will also remain silent at this time.
Okay. All right, Ms. Brothers and let's see, Mr. Salamanca.
I'm sorry.
Take yourself back and raise your right hand.
Your Honor, if you could turn up your volume a little bit, it's hard to hear you.
I think something's wrong with yours. You keep getting a lot of feedback. Where's Mr. Salamanca at?
He just raised his hand, Your Honor.
I
Right
see
here,
Emma
Your Honor.
Brothers. Okay, there you go. All right, both of them. All right, oh, I saw Perez. Y'all swear affirm? Keep it up, Mr. Perez, Salamanca Perez. Keep it up. Does he need an interpreter?
He does not, Your Honor, and he's actually not going to be testifying today anyway, so.
Okay, I'm still gonna go swear both of them in. Raise your right hand, sir. Y'all swear firm testimony about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth, nod your head. Not you, Harbonius, I'm not talking to you. Put your hand down. All right, put your hands down. Go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
All right, Your Honor, I call David Salamanca as my first witness.
Your Honor, my client's not testifying. He's asserting his Fifth Amendment privilege. He's not been validly subpoenaed and required to testify in this hearing, Your Honor. He refused.
Your Honor, as the court is well aware, according to Rule 611C, in any civil case, either party can call the adverse party and use leading questions. So I do call David Salamanca.
Okay, I understand he's gonna, now does Mr. Salamanca, does he need the interpreter?
He does
No.
not, Your Honor.
Okay, so have you, Mr. Salamanca, take yourself off mute because I wanted you to say something to me. I'm sure your lawyers explained this to you, that Ms. Dorfman can ask you a question and you don't have that whole well, if you exercise your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent in a civil case, I can take a negative inference. Or I can infer what the answer is going to be. So if she asks you, is your name David Salamanca Perez, and you say, pleading the fifth, I can obviously take an inference that that is your name. If she said, did you do this? Did you hit this person? You say, well, I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment, and I can take the assumption is you would answer yes. Okay, so I can make a negative inference or an inference from whatever questions you don't answer, but you have that right. Okay.
Okay, Your Honor.
You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
All right, Mr. Salamanca, can you state your full name?
David Santiago Salamanca Perez.
Okay, so on all the paperwork, your name is David Santiago Salamanca, and now you're saying your legal name is David Santiago Salamanca Perez?
Your objection, that misstates the nature of his answer, Your Honor. He hasn't misrepresented anything to the court. That's his
I'm
name.
not saying that he's misrepresented. I'm just saying that that's the first we've ever seen the name Perez. He signed everything as David Salamanca. So I'm just not aware. Is Perez his legal last name? Because we would need it for the court papers.
Your Honor, can we take a recess and move on to a separate case? I need to consult with my client regarding what's happening.
Okay, well, all I know is I got him on here is David Santiago Salamanca. Is that your name, sir? Take
He's
yourself
nodding
off
his head
mute.
the affirmative.
That's my name, Your Honor.
Okay, where does Perez come from?
In my country, we have two last names.
Okay, I got that. So Perez, so is it Salamanca Perez?
Yeah, my full
Okay.
name is with Perez at the end.
Okay, it's David Santiago Salamanca Perez.
That's
Boom, got it. All right, go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
Your Honor, I think Mr. Bennett said he would like to consult with his client. Mr. Bennett, I would be asking about many incidents that occurred with the petitioner. And so
Doesn't sound like it's going to be a brief hearing in that case, Your Honor. So I suppose
it won't take me long.
All right,
we're going to
go
go through
ahead,
this
Ms.
whole
Dorfman.
Fifth Amendment thing. I'm going to have a little bit of time to explain to my client. This is actually the first time I've ever had this situation occur in a TPO hearing. Typically, my clients, it's just the first time this occurred. So I need to.
Your Honor, we've had this occur many, many times on TPOs. Again, it is a civil hearing following the Civil Procedure Act, and
True.
Rule 611C is very, very clear that I can call the adverse party and use leading questions.
All right, so you want to talk to him? Do you need him in a breakout room or can you call him?
Me? Oh, he's right down the hallway, Judge.
Okay, do you want to go call him to explain to him?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to go speak to him if I can have 10 minutes, please.
Okay, all right, let's see, okay.
And I'd also ask Ms. Dorfman for her email address in the chat so I can send her my exhibits and she can provide me with the police report that she has that she intends to enter into evidence in this case. Please.
All right, Ms. Ramirez. And Mr. Garcia Tobar. I think we got Mr. Lewis back. Is Mr. Lewis back?
Señora Ramírez y señor García Tobar.
Don't see Mr. Lewis back. Okay, how about we do this? All right, Ms. Jones, so we got Mr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am.
You need the interpreter, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Are y'all sure? Because I'm going to release her.
Yes.
I'm 100% sure.
Okay, all right.
Okay, Your Honor. Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Uh-huh. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Dorfman. Ask your questions.
All right. So I was just so Mr. Salamanca is still under oath, correct?
No, ma'am. I'm objecting to Ms. Dorfman asking questions of my client. He is not under subpoena. There has been no subpoena filed.
He doesn't have to be subpoena. He's been served.
He's the adverse party.
He's the adverse party.
What is the authority? And forgive my ignorance here. What's the authority that requires or allows a attorney for another party to call an adverse party as a witness without having been subpoenaed? If he
Every
has
single civil case in the state of Georgia, it's 24-6-611. When I was on the bench, I probably had this happen at least 1,000 times. I've never had respondents counsel not understand that this was allowed. And I know Judge Manning, and as well as all the other judges that hear TPOs around Georgia, are all very familiar with 24-6-611. I can call the adverse party and I can cross-examine him.
I apologize for throwing a wrench into the process, Judge, but I feel like this is necessary to preserve this. 24-6-611 is regarding the order of presentation of witnesses.
Look at C.
subsection C does say you can use leading questions on direct examination.
When
And
you
if
call
a
an
party
adverse
calls-
party,
when a party calls a hostile witness an adverse party or a witness
It's an
identified,
adverse party.
but does that the
And
subpoena
you can
rule?
call the adverse party in civil cases. He
Okay,
can still assert his Fifth Amendment right, but I can take a negative inference from his assertion of his right. She is allowed to ask questions. Mr. Perez,
Understood.
please take yourself off mute. I'm sure Ms. Dorfman will make it very slow and painless.
where
Go
is,
ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
all right, Mr. Salamanca, can you state your full name again for the record?
David Santiago Salamanca Perez,
All right, and how old are you?
25.
Okay, and you do speak English well, correct? You actually taught English in Colombia.
I need a interpreter.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me.
I'm
What?
sorry.
What
I
is
need-
going on today?
Okay.
This is a joke. This is a joke. Today is an absolute joke.
Your Honor, he speaks English. He taught English.
I
He
speak
said he
English.
needs an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself sometimes.
This is a joke.
Mr. Bennett,
I apologize.
This is a joke.
you just allowed the interpreter to be excused. This is
Well,
ridiculous.
my
This is a
my
joke.
understanding is that he does understand English. And
He
that's
does
all I
understand
can go off
English.
all I can go off is what my
Mr.
own
Perez,
has been.
do you or do you not need an interpreter right now? Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
My God. Ms. Freed, could you please get her back on here because he does need the interpreter.
Your Honor,
I agree, Ms. Dorfman. Today, it's like I'm in some sort of, it's like these 17,000 of these have not occurred before me prior to today.
and Mr. Perez knows good and well, he has been here illegally for many years and he speaks English. He taught English. This is ridiculous.
I'm not sure my client's immigration status should be considered, Your Honor.
Stand by.
No,
Ms.
It
All right,
is,
hold
it
on.
is
Ms.
definitely
Jones?
relevant.
I don't
All right,
think-
hold on. What?
And Your Honor, I will say,
Irrelevant.
okay, Mr. Bennett, let me just ask normal questions. And then if he doesn't understand one of my questions, ask for the interpreter. Because most of this, I'm sure he understands.
Okay, hold on. Okay. So here's what I got to do for y'all right now since we finally figured it out.
Usually we do
Hey,
all
I
or
gotta let-
nothing on
I got to let the
interpretation.
11 o'clock calendar in. So something to stand by, Ms. Claudia.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, everybody, it's the new calendar. Cameras on, stay on mute. Cameras on, stay on mute. Cameras on, everybody, stay on mute. Cameras on. Ms. Thompson, I don't know what that picture is. Turn your camera on. Everybody, camera on. Everybody, camera on. Unless you were at the last meeting, this is, if you were here for this 11 o'clock hearing, turn your camera on and stay on mute. Turn your camera on and stay on mute. I can't see you. You can't go forward. Charlize Carter, your camera's not working.
I have to log on from my computer because my phone won't allow me.
That's fine. When I call your name, say here. If you cannot hear me, it's a you problem. If you are driving, I will kick you out of here. All right, Amanda Pulaski.
Judge Pittman Morris here on Miss Pulaski's behalf. We are attempting service on Mr. Harmon. I've spoken to Fulton County Sheriff's Office today. They have his address. They haven't been able to serve him yet, though.
Are you telling me that he's avoiding service and you're asking for a 30-day reset?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I think we had his housing situation was in flux, and I think we now have the address where he is. So I
get that reset date.
The reset date, April 21st at 9:30 a.m.
April
Okay.
21st, 9:30. Mr. Morris, if you put your email in the chat, Ms. Free is going to send you. Are you going to use the sheriff still?
Yes, Judge.
All right, she'll send you the reset notice in the sheriff's form. just have that, the sheriff's form filled out completely, 2 to 4 hour time frame, the best time to serve the person. Send it back to Ms. Freed before 4:30 today.
Okay, send the email to Miss Freed. Will do.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Jeanette Thomas.
I'm here.
All right, Jacqueline Sims. Thank you, Mr. Morris and Ms. Polinsky. Y'all can go ahead and leave. Jacqueline Sims. Jacqueline Sims. Amazing Sims. Take yourself off of mute and say here.
Here. We're here, ma'am. Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to unmute the thing. Okay, there you go. I'm here.
Miss Jeanette Thomas, are you still wanting to go forward?
Yes,
How many witnesses do you have besides yourself?
just myself.
Okay. Both Ms. Sims, Jacqueline Sims, do you have any witnesses besides yourself?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. No, ma'am, just myself.
All right. Ms. Amazing Sims, do you have any witnesses besides yourself?
No, ma'am, just myself.
Okay, place yourself back on mute. We'll get to you in a second. Courtney Simmons? Okay, go back on mute.
Here.
Edmund Harrison?
Here.
How'd you get served, sir?
They placed it in my door.
Who is they?
I guess the sheriffs, they placed it in my door. When I came home, it was in my door. And so I just took it off my door.
What
And
was
that's
in your door? Are you wanting to go forward? Because that's not proper service.
Your Honor, I had him served by a private processor. The private processor witnessed him. I have the affidavit of service on how he went about it.
Better email it because I don't have it and the court's got to have it. So you need to email it. Stand by, Mr. Harrison. You got to email it to the court. Next case, Amy Julius. Amy Julius.
Judge, I was just speaking with her. She's joining right now. She was having technical difficulties, but she's getting on.
Kevin Julius. Kevin Julius. Selena Kravinsky.
I'm here, Your Honor.
All right, Michael Lang, L-A-N-G, Michael Lang. No service. Sheriff's Department says they are not at home. Your case is reset until April the 7th at 2 p.m. Place your email in the chat. Once you place
Your Honor, may I ask you a question? If I wanted to hire an investigator to have him served, can I go ahead and do that?
Free to hire a private process server. So your case is reset till April 7th at 2 p.m. If you place your email in the chat, we're going to send you the reset notice that you need to give that private process server every bit of paper and that research.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. All right, once you place your email in the chat, you can go ahead and leave the meeting. Melissa Sconiers. Melissa Sconiers. Darius Spellers. Failure to appear. Chelsea Carter. Chelsea Carter.
It's Charlize Carter.
Still got to have a camera. It's Carter. Ashley
I'm
Russell.
trying to find one right now.
Not on. Can't see you. You still wanting to go forward?
Yes, I'm finding
Okay,
on.
you're going to have to find something that works with the camera works because that's not working. Brianna Deschieri. Sorry if I mispronounced
Here,
it.
she said something to me.
Miss Russell, I got you.
Okay,
Brianna
okay, my bad.
Deschiris.
It's the Cesare, and I'm here.
Figured it was something. Okay. Jared Richardson. All right, so he hasn't been served. The police say that that's a vacant unit. Your case is reset to April the 7th at 2 p.m. Place your email in the chat. We're going to send you a reset notice in the sheriff's form. Don't put that address because that's a vacant unit. Once you place the email in the chat, you can go ahead and leave the meeting.
I do have a question, Judge.
Okay.
That was the last address where he lives. So I'm not like, how do I go about that? That was the last address where he lived at.
I don't know. You can call a private process server if you'd like. I can't tell you, can't give you legal advice. Looks like you didn't go with Safe Family, so You can hire a private process server. That's really all I can tell you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody's name that is a party that I did not call your name?
Adramita Thompson.
Okay, your case is at 12:30.
Oh,
By the
okay.
way, I could go ahead and tell you, unless she shows up. They say the place is vacant from that address that you gave.
So we got her served yesterday because she came back to stop
Okay,
me
so-
again yesterday. So we had her served at the Lenox Mall yesterday.
Right, so who
By
served her?
Fulton County Marshal Lieutenant Hadley.
Okay, did they write a report or do a service of notice of
There's
service?
there's a report that was done, and she should have done it. I'm gonna give her a call right now.
All right, it just needs to be filed. I'll see you back at 12:30.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Dorfman, get to the down and dirty, please.
All right, Mr. Salamanca, you are in this country illegally, correct?
Señor Salamanca, usted está en este país indocumentado, ¿verdad?
Objection, Your Honor. What does that have to do with a petition for dating violence?
I don't know. We'll let Ms. Dorfman tell us.
Objeción. ¿Qué tiene que ver esto, su señoría, con una denuncia de violencia?
Your Honor, first of all, it shows that he has no respect for the laws of this country. He's living here illegally. Second of all, it plays a very important part in a lot of the abuse that took place between the two parties.
Primero que nada, su señoría, esto muestra que no tiene respeto por las leyes de este país, ya que está aquí ilegalmente. Y además esto tiene mucho que ver con el abuso de que se está denunciando en este caso.
Your Honor, may I make a suggestion, please?
Su señoría, pues, ¿pudiera yo dar una sugerencia, por favor?
Okay.
The allegations in the petition are what's relevant. My client will deny each of those allegations, and the court may take a negative inference from his invocation of his Fifth Amendment rights here on the record. I'll waive my objection to lack of proper service of subpoena, since civil litigation is not my area.
Subpoena. There's nothing to waive, sir. He's a party.
Understood. Yes, ma'am. I will forget about it. That's my suggestion, is that he denies those allegations, and the court can take a negative inference, and Ms. Dorfman can meet her burden of proof with that or with witnesses that she calls for her own case.
Go ahead, Ms. Dorfman. Down and dirty. Please make my
Su señoría, estos alegatos de la petición son los que son relevantes. Usted puede tomar de esto una deducción negativa, si así lo desea, pero se han infringido los derechos de la Quinta Enmienda Constitucional de mi cliente por la falta de fundamento con respecto a las preguntas que se le están haciendo. Así que nosotros negamos a cada uno de los alegatos y usted puede deducir de ahí, su señoría, se ha cumplido con el fundamento para esta denuncia de alejamiento.
Go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
Okay. So I appreciate that, Mr. Bennett. I am required to ask the questions. Not every question is going to be, where he would be asserting a right, but I do have to ask the questions. I am going to try to limit the number of incidents that I do question about because he is now claiming that he needs an interpreter, even though I'm well aware that he doesn't. This is going to take longer because of that.
Bueno, y sin embargo, gracias, señor licenciado Bennett. Estoy de acuerdo que en algunos casos él quiera acatarse a la Quinta Enmienda. No todas las preguntas, él tendrá que acatarse a la Quinta Enmienda. Yo sé que dijo que no necesitaba intérprete, ahora dice que necesita, y por lo tanto esto va a llevar más tiempo.
Mr. Salamanca, you were working at RU in February of 2022 when you met Emma Brothers, correct?
I'll take the fee.
Señor Salamanca, usted estaba trabajando en RU en febrero del 2022 cuando usted conoció a Emma Brothers, ¿correcto?
Next question.
Ok, se está acatando a la quinta. Siguiente pregunta.
And y'all became an official couple in May of 2022.
¿Y ustedes fueron una pareja oficial en mayo del 2022?
I'll take the fifth.
Fifth Amendment, I got it. Next question.
Okay. And the petitioner lives with her parents and her little sister, correct?
Y la persona que está haciendo la demanda vive con los padres y su hermanita más pequeña, ¿verdad?
I'll take the fifth.
He's taking the fifth of that too.
And when her parents left for Africa on a trip, you began to move yourself into Emma's room inside their home, correct?
Y cuando sus padres se mudaron a África, entonces usted empezó a mudarse a la habitación de Emma, ¿verdad?
I'll take the fifth.
You would sneak in and out of the home until her father finally caught you leaving one morning and ended your living under their roof, correct?
Usted se metía ahí escondidas hasta que una vez el padre se dio cuenta que usted se estaba metiendo escondidas en una mañana y eso ya terminó con el que usted pudiera siguiéndose quedar ahí escondidas.
I'll take the fifth.
You began controlling all of Emma's time. Is that correct?
Usted empezó a controlar todo el tiempo de Emma, ¿verdad? ¿Es correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
You would not allow the petitioner to spend any time with anyone other than yourself, correct?
Usted evitaba que la denunciante pudiera pasar tiempo con cualquier persona aparte de usted, ¿verdad?
I'll take the fifth.
You would isolate her from the coworkers, her friends, and her family. Is that correct?
Usted la aislaba de sus compañeros de trabajo, amigos y familiares, ¿correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
In October of 2022, you punched the petitioner in the jaw during sex. Is that correct?
En octubre del 2022, usted le golpeó en la quijada a la denunciante mientras estaban teniendo relaciones sexuales. ¿Correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
And when she started crying that she was upset by your violence, you claimed that you thought she would like it. Is that correct?
Y cuando ella comenzó a llorar y porque estaba molesta por la violencia, usted pensó que a ella le gustaba, ¿correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
In October of 2022, you also began showing up at the petitioner's job at the Jekyll Brewing Company in Alpharetta, correct?
Y usted se empezó en octubre del 2022 a aparecer en el trabajo de la denunciante en Jekyll Brewing en Alpharetta, ¿correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
And you would sit there for hours throughout her entire shift just to monitor her while she was working, correct?
Y usted se quedaba allí por horas vigilándole mientras ella estaba en su turno de trabajo, ¿verdad?
I'm taking the fifth.
On October 30th, 2022, you were spying on her through the windows at her job. And when you saw her speaking with a male coworker, you became angry, stormed inside to confront that coworker with a lot of abusive language, correct?
Y en el 30 de octubre del 2022, usted le empezó a espiar, le estaba espiando por medio de la ventana en el trabajo y cuando ella empezó a hablar con un hombre, ahí usted se enojó y entró bruscamente a su trabajo y le dijo una bola de malas palabras.
I'm taking the fifth.
And that by you doing that inside her job, that got Emma fired from that job that day, correct?
Y al usted hacer eso en el trabajo de Emma, esto hizo que la despidieran ese mismo día a Emma de su trabajo, ¿correcto?
I'll take the fifth.
Because you don't have a car or a legal driver's license, you were making Emma drive you everywhere or you would walk. Is that correct?
Porque usted no tiene auto ni licencia para conducir legal en el país. Usted hacía que Emma la llevara a todas partes.
I'll take the fifth.
In November of 2022, when Petitioner was cooking you a steak dinner, you told her that you'd like to imagine her with other men having sex because, quote unquote, your girl was a whore.
I'll take the fifth.
Y En noviembre del 2022, la denunciante le estaba cocinando un bistec para la cena y le dijo a usted que se imaginaba a ella con otros hombres, ya que ella era una puta.
And
I'll take the fifth.
And you continued sneaking into her home, even though the brothers had made it clear you were not welcome there, correct?
Y usted se seguía metiendo escondidas a la casa de ella, aunque los hermanos le dijeron a usted que usted no estaba bienvenido ahí, ¿verdad?
I'll take the fifth.
In December 2022, Emma found out that she was pregnant with your child, and your verbal and psychological abuse grew worse and worse, correct?
En diciembre del 2022, Emma se enteró que estaba embarazada con su hijo y el abuso verbal y físico incrementó más y más todo el tiempo.
I'll take the fifth.
And you told her that you would not tolerate her having that child and that you would not help her if she kept it, correct?
Y usted le dijo que no iba a tolerar que tuviera al bebé y que si lo tenía, usted no la iba a ayudar en nada.
I'll take the fifth.
And you swore to her, quote unquote, that if she did not get rid of the baby, that you would, correct?
Y usted le juró que si ella no se deshacía del bebé, usted lo haría.
I'll take the fifth.
On December 27th, the petitioner terminated her pregnancy and was in a lot of pain, but you insisted that she drive you to a parking lot for you to sell a camera, correct?
Y el 27 de diciembre, usted, ella había tenido había terminado el embarazo y estaba con mucho dolor y usted la llevó a un estacionamiento porque quería vender una cámara.
I'll take the fifth.
The two of you and the petitioner, Emma Brothers, were both very active skydivers, correct?
Ustedes dos, tanto como los hermanos, eran unas personas que les gustaba hacer el skydiving, o sea, aventarse de los aviones.
I take the fifth.
And in late December, you also screamed at her for 4 hours because she merely followed Sebastian, who was a mutual friend of you both from skydiving, on Instagram.
Y el 4 en diciembre.
He understood it. Mr. Perez, do you need the interpreter or not? That's a question for you, Mr. Perez.
You got to answer
sorry.
the judge's question, Mr.
Sorry,
Perez.
Your Honor. Sometimes I need it, sometimes not.
Okay, well, so how do we know when you do it, whether you don't? Because you're answering and taking the fifth before Miss Claudia can even do her job.
Most of the time I understand.
So if Miss Dorfman asks a question, you need to say, I can answer it, okay? If you
Yes.
need her to interpret it, you need to let her know because you are making this so much harder than it needs to be.
I understand, Your Honor.
You understood that? All right, go ahead, Ms. Dorfman.
In
Everybody
January,
get down to it. He's gonna take the fifth on everything. So here
All right.
goes highlights. I got it.
in January 2023, you were both working together at the Milton restaurant Lagarde, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
And you started forbidding the petitioner from wearing certain outfits because she looked too attractive and you didn't want other men looking at her, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
January 30th, 2023, just a few weeks ago, the petitioner turned 21 years old. Do you remember screaming at her that she was worthless and does not deserve anything for her birthday?
I'll take the fifth.
On February 7th, you woke up very, very angry at petitioner and you told her that you will only stay with her if she stays home from the trip to Florida that her family had planned for that 21st birthday, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
And when she did not cancel the trip, you blew up at her and began to push her around her room, calling her a fucking bitch, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
Then you told her as an added punishment, she cannot go on the family trip to Italy this coming summer, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
On February 8th, while you were in the car with Emma, you demanded that she drive you home immediately or you would freak out and hurt her, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
You began grabbing the steering wheel while she was driving, almost causing Emma to run off the road and crash, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
You then went ballistic inside her car, kicking very hard the dashboard, breaking the driver's seat, and also breaking the air conditioning vent, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
Emma let you out at a red light, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
And she reported the incident of domestic violence to Roswell police, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
In late February, you blew up at Emma because she cannot fix your legal status and she refused to marry you, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
And you made it clear that she made it clear that you need to stay away from her and her family and their home, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
Her father, Steve Brothers, also made it very clear that you were not welcome in their home or in their neighborhood, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
But you have no respect for her parents, do you?
I'll take the fifth.
You think that you know what's better for Emma than her own parents do, correct?
Interpreter, please.
The interpreter needs repetition.
I'll ask him, is you think that you know what's better for Emma than her own parents do?
¿Usted considera saber lo que es lo mejor que le conviene a Emma, mejor que los padres de ella?
I'll take the fifth.
And then,
Just a few, done this,
this is the last part.
Okay.
You went to but even though they told you were not welcome, you went to their neighborhood recently while you knew Emma was at work, and you walked down the middle of the street and ran into her younger sister, Sela, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
You scared Sela by asking her creepy questions, and she told you if you don't leave her alone that she would call the police, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
So, Mr. Salamanca, this is all just a sampling of the daily physical and psychological abuse that you put the petitioner through. You tried to, not only did you harm her and scare her, but you also tried to control and isolate her, correct?
I'll take the fifth.
Do you understand that she does not ever want to see you or hear from you again?
I'll take the fifth.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Mr. Bennett, do you have any questions?
Not for Mr. Perez, no ma'am.
Dorfman, anything else?
I have Ms. Brothers on the screen just to swear that all of that I asked about was true and correct, and she does want the court to issue this protective order.
All right, anything else, Mr. Bennett?
Your Honor, I'll call Emma Brothers as the respondent for pursuant to OCGA 24-611C.
All right, go ahead. Ms. Brothers, you don't need, all right, Mr. Perez, you need the interpreter to understand the questions that Mr. Bennett is going to be asking. Yes or no?
Talking to you, Mr. Perez. Can you hear us? I'm going to assume that's a no, Your Honor, and move on.
Oh, I'm not going to assume it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Brothers, something's happening with your audio. I'm getting some feedback. It's getting too close to a phone. It's near your computer or something. Electronics, it's all in the way. So there you go. Go ahead with the questions, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Good morning, Ms. Brothers. My name's Eli Bennett.
Y'all may be sitting too. Yeah, Ms. Brothers, there's still something. Is there a phone near you?
There should be. Hold on one second. Okay. Is that any better?
Let's see. Go ahead, Mr. Bennett.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Eli Bennett. I represent Mr. Perez. I'm just going to have a couple of questions for you, okay, ma'am?
All right.
Buenos días, señorita Brothers. Yo soy Eli Bennett y yo soy el abogado del señor Salamanca Pérez.
All right. On or about March 3rd, did you prepare or fill out an ex parte application for a protective order against Mr. Perez?
En o por el 3 de marzo, usted solicitó o denunció una orden de alejamiento en contra del señor Pérez, ¿verdad? Sí.
Okay. And paragraph 4 of that order details specific acts you've accused Mr. Perez of, correct?
Correct.
So in paragraph 4, you stated,
Hold on, let Miss Claudia tell Mr. Perez what you asked.
Okay. There is still some background, very heavy background noise. Apparently you have 2 devices with the audio in your room. So please turn the other one off. So I can hear my voice.
It's got to be you, Miss Brother. So if you're sitting close to anybody.
No, she's in a private room, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Bennett and the respondent are in the same place.
Okay, yeah, they can't be like near one another.
We're not responsible for the feedback, Your Honor. My client
I'm talking to Miss Brothers. She has people on here for support, so I'm telling her if she's close to them, we will get that feedback.
She is.
I'm not hearing anyone, Your Honor.
It's horrible.
En el párrafo número 4 de la petición, Mr. Eli Bennett, would you please repeat about paragraph 4 of the order?
I can try, yes, ma'am. Paragraph 4, detail the allegations, the specific allegations that you made under oath against my client, correct?
En el párrafo número 4 de la solicitud se detallan los alegatos que usted hizo en contra de mi cliente, ¿correcto?
Miss Brothers, I've muted you because of that background noise. Take yourself off mute, answer, and then place yourself back on mute.
Emma, you can answer.
Yes, that is true.
Great, now I'm going to place you back on mute until he finishes, okay? Go ahead. That's the next question, Mr. Bennett.
In that paragraph, did you accuse my client of punching you in the face during sex?
En esos alegatos, usted acusó a mi cliente de haberla golpeado en la cara cuando estaban teniendo relaciones sexuales, ¿verdad?
Yes.
Sí.
Your Honor, I will state that I was present with Ms. Brothers and was instructed by your staff not to have to detail everything, just to put a little bit in, just to get the protective order.
It's not a particularized motion like, it's not a particularized motion like a criminal. It's a notice pleading. If some notice, then you're on notice. Sorry, Ms. Claudia.
Okay. Yo le indiqué a mi cliente que ella no tenía que tener todos los detalles ahí en la orden.
Okay. At any time, did you call the police to report any acts of dating or domestic violence against my client?
¿En algún momento usted le habló a la policía para reportar actos de violencia en contra de mi cliente?
At the end of the relationship, I called police and filled out a police report.
Al final de la relación, yo le llamé a la policía para llenar un informe de la policía.
At the time that you sought this TPO or after it was filed, did you communicate with my client?
Durante el tiempo en que se hizo la solicitud de alejamiento o después de que la presentó, ¿se comunicó usted con mi cliente?
We communicated up until I was admitted into emotional support rehabilitation center for the domestic abuse, which was before he was the protective order.
Go ahead. Yep.
So that was prior to March 3rd?
Fue antes del 3 de marzo, entonces.
The last time we communicated, I believe, was March 3rd.
La última vez que nos comunicamos fue el 3 de marzo. Ella indicó que es que se había metido a un lugar para apoyo psicológico por abuso.
Okay. Do you remember telling my client via direct messages that you told law enforcement or the court system that he had never been violent with you before?
Recuerda haberle dicho durante mensajes directos con mi cliente que usted le había indicado a la policía que él nunca había sido violento con usted.
I do not recall.
No recuerdo.
Would it refresh your recollection if I showed you a copy of the messages regarding that statement?
Absolutely.
Le recordaría si yo le muestro mensajes, una copia de estos de lo que usted le dijo a él directamente en mensajes sobre la policía. Absolutamente.
Your Honor, I'm going to object. I've been the attorney of record for Petitioner since March 6th in this case, and I have never been sent anything or shared anything. And I do not have access with my client right now. She is in a secure facility. So I'm going to object.
Yo voy a objecionar, su señoría. Yo he estado representando a mi cliente desde el 6 de marzo y nunca se me han enviado o compartido ningún tipo de este tipo de comunicación para mí, para yo estar consciente de esto. Y mi cliente ahora se encuentra en una instalación con seguridad.
Your Honor, my response is I'm just attempting to refresh her recollection. It's not an evidentiary exhibit or anything like that.
Nada más le dije esto para recordarle la memoria a ella, para refrescar su memoria. No es para entrar, no es para presentarlo como parte de las pruebas.
Okay, is this relevant?
¿Tiene relevancia esto?
I would submit it is because it's directly impeaching of, well, not really her testimony, I guess her testimony through her lawyer asking my client questions, that he was violent.
Sí tiene relevancia, señoría, porque es para impugnar, bueno, no impugnar, pero sí para mostrar que ella no había demostrado que él era violento, no lo había dicho.
And in fact, it's them discussing this very matter that's pending before this court at the time that she was allegedly, making these claims in court with her lawyer.
Y tienen que ver con respecto a las discusiones de los alegatos que estaba haciendo durante el tiempo en que se interpuso esta demanda, en que estaba hablando con su abogada.
Go ahead and answer the question. Go ahead, answer the question, ma'am.
Responda la pregunta.
I would be willing to tell the defendant anything he wanted to hear to protect my safety. And if that includes telling him I did not report his violence, I absolutely would have said so.
Yo le diría al acusado cualquier cosa para protegerme de sus actos de violencia. Y si esto quisiera decir mentira al respecto de no haber hablado con la policía sobre esos actos, claro que lo haría.
So that makes sense. The answer to my question then is yes, you did tell him he was never violent with you and you stated that, correct?
Entonces la respuesta es que sí, entiendo lo que usted está diciendo, pero está diciendo que sí, que no hubieron, que usted le dijo a él que no había habido actos de violencia.
Asked and answered, Your Honor. He said yes.
Is that a yes, Ms. Brothers?
I still do not recall. I'm just saying it's possible.
The question, you said, all he wanted, you said something, you told him anything he'd want to hear. Is that a yes? If that's what you told him?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, next question.
No recuerdo, usted le decía lo que él quería oír, sí.
One moment, Your Honor.
Okay.
I don't have any further questions, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Dorfman?
Ms. Brothers, is everything that you put in your petition true and correct?
Licenciado, lo que usted puso en su solicitud es verdadero y correcto, sí.
Are you in fear for your safety and the members of your family's safety from Mr. Salamanca Perez?
¿Usted teme por su seguridad y la seguridad de los miembros de su familia? Contra el señor Salamanca Pérez?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutamente, sí.
Are you asking the court to extend the protective order for 12 months?
Le está pidiendo a la señora juez que extienda la orden por 12 meses, la orden de alejamiento.
Yes.
Sí.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Eso es todo.
Anything else, Mr. Bennett?
No, Your Honor, just argument briefly.
No, argumento breve.
Oh, is it my turn?
I mean, I'll argue very briefly, Your Honor, that this was a very controlling textbook relationship of psychological family, dating violence, abuse. He literally would not let her talk to other people, didn't want her to go on a vacation with her family. He controlled all her actions, got her fired from her job because he would watch her. And if she, God forbid, spoke with any male coworker, he would blow up at her. He did punch her in the jaw. He did force her to terminate her pregnancy. And he did grab the steering wheel, causing her to almost crash. She is very fearful for her safety. And again, I'm sure she did tell him whatever he wanted to hear before she checked herself into this inpatient facility. So we would ask the court to extend the 12-month protective order.
Su señoría, este es un caso en que es típico de controlar a la persona de manera física y psicológica, en que hubo violencia, en que no dejaba que ella fuera a diferentes lugares, trataba de aislarla, no podía ir de vacaciones con su familia. Él, de hecho, la golpeó en la quijada, hizo que ella terminara su embarazo, o sea, que abortara. Y también tomó el volante, causando, en peligro de que ella pudiera haber tenido una situación de un accidente. Además, ella teme por su seguridad. Okay, that's all I can.
All right, and also, Your Honor, Mr. Salamanca Perez, the respondent, had every opportunity to explain his side of the story, but he chose to instead plead the fifth on every single question asked.
El señor Salamanca pudo haber explicado su versión de los hechos, pero él se negó, acatándose a la quinta enmienda constitucional en todo. Por lo tanto, pedimos que se extienda la orden de alejamiento por 12 meses.
Mr. Elliott, Mr. Bennett.
Your Honor, I'll really just be brief. The discrepancy between what's in the petition and what we heard today through Ms. Brother's counsel is striking. We have an allegation of a threat of violence, no actual violence. Grabbing a steering wheel, which I don't believe was even directly asked about on cross or direct or whatever it was of Mr. Perez. It's a very unusual process to have a witness vouch for somebody else's cross-examination and have that be sufficient to grant a TPO. It's an interesting strategy. All I would submit is that, yes, of course, the court is within its discretion to take a negative inference, but given the beginning of Ms. Dorfman's questions that focused on completely unrelated, irrelevant issues, I think that that should also be taken into account when the court decides what the strength of that inference should be. Having Ms. Brothers not testify directly to the allegations and in an affirmative way and actually provide evidence. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no police report or time that Mr. Perez Salamanca was arrested or charged with any of these heinous crimes he's been accused of. You have a lot of allegations of a controlling relationship and that her parents didn't approve of Mr. Perez. But, everything my understanding of this relationship is that they were two teenagers essentially deeply in love. It became a toxic relationship. I don't think he kidnapped her or made her terrified of him. It doesn't appear that was the case. Everything I have is to the exact contrary of that. And that's not what the TPO system is for, is to assist a breakup. And that's what I believe is happening here, Your Honor. So I would ask you to dismiss this.
Brevemente, su señoría, me parece que existen bastantes discrepancias entre la solicitud de la denuncia y los actos de violencia que se alegan que supuestamente sucedieron, como el haber tomado del volante. Estas preguntas se pudieron haber hecho en contrainterrogatoria durante el proceso. Sin embargo, en todas las preguntas que se hicieron, habían asuntos. Usted puede tomarlo esto como una deducción en contra. Sin embargo, como dijo la señorita Brothers, cuando se le hicieron las preguntas directamente de su abogada con respecto a los alegatos, no se respondieron realmente directamente ante estos, ya que no hay fotografías, no hay informe de la policía que se le hubiera arrestado directamente con respecto a los alegatos de que se le acusan aquí. Sí, tal vez se habló sobre las cosas relativas a una relación de control, pero son dos adolescentes que estaban enamorados. Él en ningún momento la raptó, se la llevó o cometió actos de terror en contra de ella.
And Your Honor, I must just respond briefly that opposing counsel's argument is extremely concerning. He only chose to ask Petitioner 2 questions. He could have cross-examined her for hours if he chose to do so, but he chose to only ask her 2 because he knows she's telling the truth. And this is exactly the case why we have TPOs in this country.
Y esto es realmente alarmante, que el abogado de la defensa únicamente le hizo 2 preguntas a mi cliente. 2 preguntas porque sabe que ella está diciendo la verdad. Y esta es la razón por la cual en este país tenemos órdenes de alejamiento en protección de las personas.
All right, I'm putting this in place for 12 months. Both of you, both lawyers, just place your email in the chat. I'm sorry, Ms. Dorfman, you mind doing this order? Because Ms. Free is, I don't even know where she's working. I think she's working the window and everything today. But you mind email us a copy of that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Your Honor. You said
email us a copy of the order.
A copy of the 12-month order?
Yeah, we'll grant the order for 12 months. If you just email us, if you just prepare the order.
Okay, I'm assuming that you are ordering respondent to undergo FVIP.
Well, I don't think this is in dating, and that's been a qualified date.
Yeah, they actually do under the law of Georgia.
They just add that this last time?
So.
Because before it would not. I was just looking.
For what it's worth, he's already going through counseling.
Okay.
For what it's worth.
Do you need the dating violence order in Word?
Que tiene que ir a consejería él si es lo que quieren saber, y además que no están casados, están saliendo, pero se va a emitir una orden de 12 meses de alejamiento.
That's fine, Your Honor. I'll send, you want me to send Ms. Free a copy of the 12-month dating violence order?
Yeah, do you need it in Word so that you can fill it out?
No, I've got one.
You've got one, the updated
Yes.
one in Word?
Yeah. All right, I'll send it to Ms. Free.
Thank you. I'll sign it. So, Mr. Bennett, you put your email in the chat or
Yes, ma'am.
La abogada
copy of it.
La abogada Dorfman lo va a redactar, le va a enviar copia a su abogado, el señor Bennett. La juez lo va a firmar.
All right. May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, Ms. Dorfman. Ms. Claudia, where is Mr. Perez?
Señor
Mr.
Pérez. Señor Pérez.
If you violate this order,
si usted quebranta esta orden judicial,
you can be charged with aggravated stalking,
se le puede a usted acusar de acecho con agravantes,
which carries a sentence of up to 10 years.
Este cargo, esta falta, lleva una sentencia de hasta 10 años.
If you also violate this, Ms. Brothers is allowed to file a contempt. Mr. Perez, you better turn your camera on.
Prenda su cámara. Y si usted quebranta esto, la señorita Brothers puede emitir una demanda en su contra por desacato a la ley.
She can file a contempt and I can put you into jail up to 20 days and give you a $1,000 fine.
Y con esa orden de desacato se le pondría 20 días, hasta 20 días en la cárcel y se le cobraría una multa de hasta $1,000.
Do you understand?
¿Usted entiende esto?
I understand.
Any contact whatsoever, Ms. Brothers, the first thing you do is call 911. Once y'all place your email in the chat, y'all go ahead and leave the meeting. Y'all stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, so after listening to this long, drooling case and listening to the defendant plead the fifth, the whole case, how do you feel? I think that he is guilty, right? I think that he's guilty just for him not being able to answer those questions clearly. And those were some serious questions that were asked to him from the plaintiff's lawyer. And every question, if it was my daughter, I would want to choke him. I don't want to hurt nobody, but I would want to choke him, because men who take advantage of ladies, I just don't care for them. I just don't. But nevertheless, thank you for all who stuck around for this video. Put it in the comments. I think that this guy's deceptive, and that's how I feel. But you can have a different opinion and a different feeling, and that's fine. But nevertheless, hit the notification bell. You can support the channel through Cash App or Super Chat. And once again, we'll see you in the next video.